Welcome back to For Perspective. This is Season 2, Episode 8 of the show, and today we're going to cover Notion 3.0, the most useful operating system updates in Apple's 26 OS update releases, and some of the early iPhone durability concerns, and whether or not you should be worried. So kicking it off with Notion, I've made 2 videos on the channel now about Notion. They held a conference a few weeks ago where they released what they're calling Notion 3.0. This is a big update for the software with a lot of AI updates at the core, but some general quality of life improvements hidden in there as well. So the more I use Notion, the more hesitant I am to jump into it full time. I definitely have recreated my Apple productivity system inside of Notion. So notes, calendar, and reminders pretty much can all be replaced with the setup that I have in Notion at the moment. But the more that I use it, I'm just like, I kind of can't wait to be done making videos about Notion. And that should tell me all I need to know at this time, whether or not I should switch. So I have a couple of videos working in Notion. I have a couple of videos detailed out in Apple Notes. The fragmentation is starting to get confusing for me, and I can't keep doing that. So I have to sort of pick a horse here and figure out which one I want to use long term. But Notion 3.0 has come with a host of features, like I said, an AI-packed quality update. They have new agents inside of Notion. So you can give custom instructions to the AI to do various tasks. These agents can also dig down into your databases and do things for you. So they can create pages, create tasks, do tasks, or even set up things within your database. So I haven't dug into agents a lot yet, but Notion AI itself had been really helpful when I was working on setting up my database, and helped me figure out a few key things that I was struggling with to get my system set up. There are performance improvements on large databases. I don't have a very large database, but those are supposed to be faster now. A new map view feature. And the fact that the AI directly inside of Notion actually is really good and can reach in and do things within your databases, update, queries, create automations for you, create new databases, link things together, make reports, right? Whatever you want to do, that's the key advantage here. Now, you can have Claude and ChatGPT via MCP kind of do the same thing, right? Like Claude and ChatGPT can help you out with some of this stuff, and they can make edits to pages, but in my experience, I don't think it's going to be as powerful as having it built right into the application. And what Notion's doing with AI really feels like where the value play is. So the whole chat interface, it's kind of interesting, but it's sort of like a search query at this point, right? Like most average people are just asking it questions and getting the responses, maybe going back and forth a few times, and then you got your answer and you close out and you move on. People that are power users in AI, that's obviously not how they use it. But when AI has access to all of the information that's inside of Notion or all of your pages in there, you really could start to get some benefits of it identifying themes or being able to do sort of the mundane tasks in Notion of maintaining the system and take some of that load off of the human. I think that's a really good benefit. So I have a few more videos on Notion coming, and then we'll see what happens with the channel. I do kind of like using it. The interface is pretty good. The biggest hurdle I have right now is trying to get myself off of Apple Calendar and Apple Reminders. Despite their limitations, linking those things together along with Apple Notes and the lack of visibility that I've complained about in the past, it is a habit now for me to check those things, right? I have the calendar widget on my phone. Its mobile experience is really great on all three of those apps, where I find that Notion is a little bit lacking. And I don't know that I feel the need to jump into Notion calendar. Like, yes, I would need to if I wanted to see my tasks inside of the calendar. But when I take a step back and look at my system and what I actually need right now, I'm not sure that the mental load of switching systems is going to be worth it for me. All right, on to some Apple stuff. So we have the operating systems with the 26 moniker. I still don't know what to call this thing, right? It's iOS 26, iPad OS 26, Watch OS 26, Mac OS 26, Tahoe. And I've been discovering a lot of great features. I really didn't watch a whole lot of videos. I had the betas on my iPad and my phone for quite a while, but when I jumped into the computer, there were some things that I saw that stuck out that I wanted to mention, and something I discovered on the watch that I'll try not to forget here. So the first thing on the phone is the new call screening feature. So I don't know about you, I get so many spam calls, and now they're not even real humans. You pick it up and it's an AI, so you can't even yell at them and tell them that they're stupid. But with the call screening feature, as soon as the phone picks up and, asks, who is this? If you would like to leave a message, give some more information. So you see that on the screen of your phone. The person who called you gets that message, and it works really well when they are a human. I've had a couple calls come through. People that aren't in my contacts usually get sent straight to voicemail. This call screening, along with live voicemail, works really well when they do leave their name. It's easy to pick up during the middle of the voicemail message. Might be a little confusing at first for people on the other end, but eventually these people who call a lot of people will get used to it. But so as soon as like an AI caller hears that message, it hangs up, the screen goes away, and you can go back to doing whatever you were doing. I like that feature a lot. There are times where, I'm waiting on a call from like a contractor for the house or the doctor's office, someplace that I know I don't have their phone number in my phone as a contact. So it's probably going to go into like a missed calls list. And this is just like an extra peace of mind to make sure I'm not missing something that's actually important when all these idiots with their stupid spam calls can't leave me alone. Something else that I used recently, phone call recording. Now, this wasn't new in the 26 updates. It came in iOS 18, apparently. State rules dependent. I'm not responsible for whatever you do. Go figure out if this is legal for you to use in your area. But I was calling somebody who had a voicemail message that said, if I don't call you back within a day, here's my manager's phone number. Maybe that person's out on vacation or sick or whatever. They left their manager's extension in the voicemail, but the line broke up while they were recording, so I couldn't really hear it. So I called the voicemail with the call recording on. The transcript goes with both the audio recording and a text transcript into Apple Notes, and I was able to grab the extension that I needed to dial. So I hadn't ever used that before, and it's a really cool feature. I love that this goes directly into Apple Notes, which everybody knows is kind of still my app of choice for the time being. Next is the use model action in Shortcuts. And I think I'm going to keep canceling and resubscribing to ChatGPT. This use action shortcuts, use model action shortcut lets you select which AI model you want to use. So you can use an on-device model, you can use Apple's private cloud, or you can select the ChatGPT app. This works a lot better than the actual ChatGPT action with the app inside of Shortcuts. It's an Apple-built thing. And the ChatGPT action is pretty limited in what it can do. So you can do things like Stephen Robles has a pretty good example of this, where He has some RSS feeds. He has a shortcut. I'll link to the video if I can find it, where for his daily podcast, the shortcut goes out and grabs news stories from like Apple, The Verge, 9 to 5 Mac, Mac Rumors, all these RSS feeds. It basically pulls these RSS feeds. He can select which articles he wants to talk about on the daily show, sends that off to ChatGPT to get like a summary, some title options, and then you can take that response then and put it into whatever note system you want, like Apple Notes or Bear Notes, or if you're smart enough with shortcuts, you could connect this via API to Notion if you wanted to as well. It's kind of like MCP Lite, I'll call it, with Apple. It's like the beginnings of how I think Apple is going to implement this stuff. I would love to see some more AI models in there. Like right now, it's just ChatGPT. It would be cool if you get the option to just pick whatever you want. Like Raycast AI, you can have a chat with Gemini, but you want to see how Claude responds. You can change it to Claude and, prompt it again, that sort of thing. It will be cool if Apple can figure out how to integrate all of those different models, because sometimes the responses, like ChatGPT is just okay. It's a good generalist, but a lot of the times I do like the responses out of Claude, and Gemini is obviously really great for video and audio generation at this point, if that's something you're into. Next on the list is Spotlight. I think I'm going to make a video on this, on whether or not Spotlight can actually replace Raycast for me. So Raycast is now my window management. I no longer use Magnet, but in order to move windows around on the Mac, same keyboard shortcuts as Magnet, but Raycast is controlling that stuff for me. So I already kind of mentioned the Raycast AI. I have a few different custom AIs in Raycast. I've talked about them in some videos in the past. I don't use them all that often, but it's like really cool that with Raycast, you basically get access to all of the AI models. Now, it's not as easy with, I have a lot of custom projects, both in ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini that have custom instructions, custom sets of data, PDFs, markdown files, things that they reference that I want to influence the response that I'm getting. It's a little bit harder to do that thing. Like you can do custom instructions, but uploading files into like a project type thing, I don't think is possible yet. Maybe I got to look into that a little bit more. I almost never use Raycast for clipboard history. That's like one of the big things that a lot of people, it has clipboard history. I don't really ever use that. Maybe it's something I need to use, and I, again, don't know about it, but I haven't found the need to do it. Spotlight has a bunch of new updates in that it's a lot more like Raycast. So you can obviously launch apps from it. That was always something you could do, but you get kind of like a context-aware Spotlight now, where shortcuts is built into it. So if you wanted to add reminders or add notes, or basically you get access to all of the shortcuts actions directly within Spotlight, and it just makes things a lot easier that it's built right into the operating system. Obviously, Raycast can do all this stuff too. There's extensions for all this stuff. There's extensions for reminders and notes. You can add notes. The other thing I do use a lot in Raycast is what they call aliases, and that's just a custom set of keys that pull up a command. Like something I do all the time is switch which audio output I'm listening to, whether I'm on the MacBook or the desktop behind me. I have the Scarlett 2i2 hooked up to record audio, and that's how I use wired headphones as well. So if I'm editing a video, I'll be switching between the external speakers, and then when I want to do the sound leveling and all of that stuff, I want to have headphones on to do that. So I switch the output device. I have that set. I go into Raycast and type SOD, switch output device, hit enter, and then it's, a one one arrow down to get to the Scarlett 2i2, enter again, and then I can put my headphones on. You can do the same thing in Spotlight now. I think they call them quick keys, but the actions aren't as in depth, I guess I'll say, right? Like I could set one up to type NR for new reminder, which is what I did. So you open up Spotlight, NR, new reminder, and then you can start typing whatever the reminder is. And you can actually pick from what list you want it to go to there as well. I haven't tested out natural language input. If you could set due dates and stuff, I'll have to, like I said, making a full video, I'll have to dive into some of this in the full video. But some of the deeper settings, like switching the output device for your headphones or external speakers, aren't in there. So you'd have to do a quick key to get to the settings page for audio. And it's probably ends up to be the same amount of clicks at the end of the day, but there's a lot of muscle memory built in here for some of the keys that I use in Raycast. And I have the caps lock key bound to what they call the hyper key, so I can jump around in apps. Like I do caps lock A gets me to Raycast AI, like F is Final Cut Pro, C is for calendar, N is for notes, R is for reminders. So caps lock plus any of those keys makes it a lot easier to navigate without a mouse hooked up on something like a MacBook. So I'll be giving Spotlight probably a real run. I think I'll have to reinstall Magnet, I guess. And I think I'm just going to have to uninstall Raycast for a little bit to make sure I give this a true test and I'm not just still using Raycast side by side with Spotlight during the testing period. And yet another iPhone release is here with another gate. They're calling this one Scratch Gate. This year, apparently Apple responded to the scratch and durability concerns that there were some worn MagSafe charging stands in Apple stores that were causing some of the early scratches that people were seeing. Then, if you're on social media, on Threads, there's been a bunch of reports of people with damaged phones, specifically the orange and the blue, have very noticeable scratches around the camera bumps, and a couple that were just, fully negligent. Like I saw one that was on a tripod that got knocked over and smashed into a concrete step and was like, what the heck, Apple? My phone's damaged. Like, no shit. Another one looked like the phone had been dropped as well. It was the orange as well. So when the orange scratches, you're going to see the silver aluminum underneath. This led me to make a post about the anodization process on Threads. So Apple went back to aluminum. They use a process called anodizing to get the colors in there. It's not a coating, and it's not paint, and it's very thin. Think about like the thickness of a sheet of paper is about the max level of thickness that you'll get out of a hard anodization process. So when they generate this it's effectively like a rust layer. Like aluminum doesn't rust like a steel would, but think about it like a layer of rust is effectively what it is. It's harder than the base metal, which is aluminum. Aluminum's pretty soft. And when this oxidization layer is created, they put the dye inside of that layer. I might have to have a graphic up here to better explain this, but in the keynote, Apple said that they put the new iPhone through successive anodization baths. So whatever that means, that's, I guess, more than one, to get the hard, durable outer layer, I think is their words. And we will see, I guess, how durable these phones end up being. I saw Tyler Stallman posted, again, a follow-up. He went to his local Apple store and checked out the iPhones that have been in store now for, I don't know if it's been 2 weeks yet or not. And there were no scratches to be found. And actually, I haven't watched the Jerry Rig Everything video yet with his scratch tests, but I think it did pretty well in those, all things considered. I mean, I have a natural titanium iPhone 16 Pro, It's been dropped a couple of times just on hardwood floors, never on concrete. It still looks great. I mean, titanium is a really durable metal, but obviously this one doesn't have any dye coating to it. Not sure if they did like some sort of clear coating on top of it, but generally the durability on the 16 Pro has been really impressive. As far as the 17 goes, I think it's kind of like a meh update this year. I wasn't really excited. I still love the 16 Pro. Putting the beta on the phone, it made it feel a lot newer than it actually is. I mean, it's only a year old, so I don't know what we're doing here in the tech space these days, but feels pretty much like a brand new phone. I think the fully glass back of the 16 Pro looks a lot better. It looks a lot more premium to me than the 17 Pro. I don't know what it is. I posted something on Threads about I think it's just a fussy design of the 17 Pro. It looks like there was just a little bit, they were trying to do too much. Trying to do the unibody thing, but then it's like, oh crap, we need a glass back if we want to support MagSafe and wireless charging. And then there's the weird antenna port at the top of the phone, and the camera bump. It just doesn't look good to me. Like, there's a lot of billet aluminum products in the automotive space, in the aftermarket car space that you look at, and it's like, wow, that was designed really well. Even though it has a lot of function in it, the form looks good too. Like things you put under your engine, like the engine mounts for my car, big hunk of billet aluminum with some rubber meshed in between it, but it still looks good. And I think they could have done a lot better with the design on the 17 Pro. The full bar across the back, it looks really disruptive to me and very un-Apple-like. It almost like when I look at the 17 and the 17 Pro next to each other, I think the 17 base model looks like the more premium device, at least to me. So we'll see, right? I don't need a new phone this year. My wife's still on the 14. She would like something newer with a better camera system. So unfortunately, like 14 to 17, yeah, you get a little bit of a bump, right? It's a 48 megapixel wide sensor in the 17, and the better main sensor as well. So it's a step up, but she would sure like the zoom would be useful as well. And I think in my experience, the Pro phone seems to focus a little bit better than the regular phone. I don't know if that has anything to do with the LiDAR sensor on the back of it or not. So we'll see if that's a roundabout way of saying, like, I don't know if I'm going to have a new 17 phone to review this year. I'm going to stick with the 16 Pro for at least another year. I love the way that it looks. It feels in the hand. The battery is still at 100% capacity, so I have no complaints. We're going to give it, run it back for another year and see how that goes. So I think this has been it for Season 2, Episode 8 of For Perspective. If you've made it this far, go check out my newsletter, The Digital Pulse. That'll be in the description down below on Substack. And if you're interested in learning more about Apple Notes, I have an essential Apple Notes guide for sale on Gumroad. I'll leave that link in the description down below as well. And as always, get subscribed for more episodes of For Perspective, and stay tuned for all of these full YouTube videos that I mentioned in today's show. Thanks for listening or watching wherever you found me. If you're on YouTube or Spotify, you can leave a comment. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, you can leave up to a 5-star review, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Later.